All right, and we're live. Welcome back to another episode of the Relationship Series. My name is Gina, and this is my brother Sam Spataro.
Howdy do.
It's been interesting the past, what is it, 9 weeks now that we've kind of been quarantined. There's a lot of things that have been arising with relationships, and there's going to be quite a trend that we see right now because one, people are lonely, or two, people are finding it difficult to maintain their relationship because of the close proximity with their partners. So it's like a double-edged sword, or, what side of the coin are you going to flip? But before we even dive into this topic, if you support our channel, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. It just helps us, grow, and it also helps others in need of possibly something that they're struggling with in their relationship as well. Because likeness does attract likeness. Whatever you're seeking also is seeking you. And there could be some little tidbits of information that we are delivering that might really resonate with someone, or they have not really thought about. But how's your week been, Sam?
My week has been great. I
Good.
I also have a coach that coaches me, and I was kind of stumped on what we wanted to work on next. And he's like, "Well, what about your body?" I'm like, "You nailed it."
What about what? Sorry?
He's like, "What about your body?" I'm like, "Okay, you nailed it. Let's do it." I
Oh,
don't
that's
know how many
great.
people, yeah, I don't know
In
how
what
many people
aspects? In what aspect?
physically, like
Mm,
sticking to, like, I'm sure everybody can contest that we all have New Year's resolutions that we follow or something happens, like, we're going to start eating healthy, working out. This is the time. This is the time where I finally
hmm
stay consistent, and then something happens, an old trigger,
Right,
an old
right,
awareness comes through, and then it kind of gets left in the dark, right?
right,
So that
right.
rinse and repeat cycle. So yeah, so I've got some new, sort of things carrying me forward, beliefs,
Love it.
and yeah, that are kind of pushing me forward. It's pretty awesome.
Awesome. And,
Yeah.
especially having children, I think it's such a priority to demonstrate, what a healthy mind, body, and spirit actually looks like, right? So, you know, and that's a whole other topic about your physicality part of it all. That could be another episode that we can dedicate to. But should we kick our topic off tonight? Oh no, Sam's frozen. Not me this time.
Dude, you and I were frozen at the same times.
No way, just now?
Yeah, maybe that whole like deplatforming thing that's going on for some reason. Maybe they don't like our stuff too.
No, I don't think that's it. I think it's probably just the fact
I
that
know
a lot of people are using the internet more so
exactly.
now than
Yeah, I know for
ever,
sure.
right? But write in the comments, please, if you are noticing some difficulties with our video, because then we might have to kill our video and just use audio. But on that note, let's start. So tonight's topic is finding the right partner. Now, let me ask you this, Sam, because, people always say, I'm looking for the one, or I'm looking for, the right person, etc. Let's get this clear. No one is perfect. You are not going to find perfect, because the minute you look for perfect, your expectations are what's going to hinder you from moving forward. Because, they always say the closest people to you, the people that you love the most, disappoint you the most. And it's because your expectations that you have in your mind or set are not being fulfilled. So, first and foremost, you have to realize that you're not perfect. The person you meet will most likely not be perfect either. So, let's get clear on that. But let's kick it off with your first topic, Sam. Are you ready?
And I think I want to add to that. It's not that the people closest to you disappoint you the most. I mean, if we can flip that around and create a different sort of viewpoint, is maybe the people the closest to you should make you grow the most.
Ah, yes. 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 And I think that has to do a lot with even understanding if your expectations are realistic. And, that's where the mirror effect is, where you have to turn it around and look at yourself first, right?
Exactly.
All right, let's go. So, first one is your favorite, probably. And I'll let you touch on this, are the 6 human needs. And you truthfully have opened my eyes to service in a relationship, Sam, truthfully. So I can't wait for you to go a little bit deeper on this one. Go ahead.
All right. So for most of you, like myself years ago, who don't really understand much about relationships, and I think really what it comes down to is we need to understand that one, unicorns don't exist.
Nope.
There's so many different things that contribute to making a relationship great or really shitty. And a lot of the things that are going on are really behind the scenes of the things that we don't even understand or comprehend that are guiding us. A lot of the things do have to do with upbringing, the environment you're in, the way you've seen your mother and father interact, the way they communicated, loved one another, solved problems together, the things that they did with their lives, their bodies, their money, whatever it might be. But what it really always comes down to, and this is something that I learned in a course that I took, was that every human being has 6 needs. And so what happens in a relationship as time progresses, we start to get to a point where everything is going so good, and all of a sudden you kind of hit that crossroad. You start to hit the problems. You start to hit the bumps in the road. A lot of us don't really understand what they truly really are. But deep down, what it always comes down to is this, is that we all have 6 human needs. And if I mess up one of them here, I'm going to need you to help me fill in.
Oh, gosh. Okay, go
Um,
ahead.
so the human need for certainty, the
Hmm.
human need for uncertainty, the human need for variety, the human need for love and connection, the human need for growth, and the final human need of contribution. Now, how does this play into a relationship? Well, here's why it's important. When it comes to the two leading energies, it's important for the vitality of a relationship for they to be complementary to be between one another. And so, what do I mean by that? Let's say, for example, you're in a relationship and you're someone that likes to take care of their body. You are a very, very spiritually driven person who likes to grow and expand and learn about life, learn about yourself, and give, 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 give. But yet, your partner, on the other hand, is very complacent, mundane, okay with the they are. They have no interest in growing and finding out more about life. Well, at some point in your relationship, you're going to hit a fork where you're going to be going in a different direction because you're always focusing on giving more, where they're always complacent with just being the way they are. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. And I think most people in a relationship like that, and maybe you're watching this and you've been in a relationship for 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, you're going to come into some form or some sort of situation in your relationship, no matter what that variable is, where it's the human needs that are always dictating what you will experience in that moment.
Yeah.
I mean, and so I think that's very key. And one key thing is that makes a successful relationship is to identify that. Spend some time, now that you know this, and learn more about the 6 human needs, what they're all about, how they play into our lives as human needs, how they drive us, and what we should be doing with them. And then if you are getting into a relationship, you can become conscious and aware in when finding a mate, finding a person that you can ask very specific questions about who they are, what they believe in, what their life ambitions, goals are, and all those sort of things. And you can start to put the pieces of the puzzle together to see if everything's going to work and everything's going to fit and all the moving parts together.
Yeah. I have to agree because, people idealize about like this non-negotiable list and negotiable list. And I think it's very important to get clear on what truly is going to matter. Because someone who longs for connection, right, is going to need someone who meets them halfway in fulfilling some of those needs before there's resentment or whatnot, kind of showing up a little bit later. But it is the balance part, and it is the need for all of it at certain times, right? So the need for certainty, but understanding that too much certainty will also drive an anxious brain, right? So it's understanding the need for uncertainty to show up in a relationship as well and what it looks like. Because that's going back to kind of what we said in the beginning, where, you know, you set these expectations to be met, and then when they're not met, you don't know how to deal with them, or it's like fight or flight, right? So it's understanding human nature essentially, right, between a man and a woman, or whatever denomination you choose to get into a relationship with. um, but it's understanding the needs of different people. um, like for me, I don't crave how do I say this? I don't need someone's attention 24/7. That's not a need for me. Do I need some certainty? Of course. Do I love, the variety and the uncertainty and spontaneity? Of course. But there's also people where the tipping scale is way higher than the other. And then I don't know about you, but I do know people or relationships as such. And then the anxiousness comes in. And then what we talked about a couple episodes ago, where it's like the jealousy shows up, right? And it's understanding why, first and foremost. And second, how to allow for the other needs to show up. How can you deliver those needs to your partner, right? Because sometimes we're stuck on how to deliver and how to receive.
No, I agree. That's bang on. And I think if I can add to that, a
Sure.
lot of the times where this does happen is when we're in disagreement or a
Mm,
lack of understanding. And when that really happens, if there's one thing that I understand now is it's just a matter of one another not meeting each other's
yeah.
needs in that time.
Mhm.
And so, and one thing I want to add is, if you realize you're in a relationship where you now understand what these needs are, you understand what your needs are, maybe they are different, it doesn't mean it's not going to work. It just
Right.
allows you now to be free of understanding that you're just on different playing field. You're not on the same equilibrium when it comes to a certain things, and that's okay because now you can just keep the focus on you and being accepting of the things that are different, the things that they value different than you, and you no longer try to push to save somebody or you become more accepting and embrace your own individuality, their individuality, and you start learning to understand. Number one, the keeping understanding someone else is understanding what you need and how to go about doing that on a daily basis.
Yep.
But it also gets you a deeper understanding and an acceptance of the fact that we are all uniquely different. Even if you find that perfect match, you will always have the indifferences.
Yep.
It's innate for that to happen. But what drives us is understanding what our needs are, understanding what needs are leading us and what are guiding us, and what they mean to us.
Mhm.
And then from there, we can evolve by understanding our true natures of how we work as human beings, and then move forward together in circumstances or situations that you're just building a relationship, or whether you're looking or you've been in one for 10 or 20 years, is you can always just start,
Yeah.
and that's really what it comes down to. And I think I just maybe to give an insight and an example of some people that are watching right now is, we've talked a lot about this, and we obviously apply a lot of these situations in our relationship. When has understanding the dynamic of the six human needs where you identified it, it's helped you to kind of push through a situation, an argument, a disagreement in a different way where it didn't unseat you into like anxiety and
Mm,
stress and worry and fear, but rather just learning to like embrace what is in that moment by understanding what's leading you.
yeah. So are you asking me to give you an example, or are you just saying
Mm-hmm.
you want me to give an example?
Yeah.
Okay. So for me, I can be very stubborn. um,
Come on.
yeah, I can
I
be
thought,
very.
I thought I thought you were one of the only unicorns in the world.
No, 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 no. No one is, nor do I ever claim to be. I definitely have my faults as well. So, you know, when you have two people that could be stubborn in a relationship, and very headstrong and assertive in certain viewpoints. I'm telling you, there I have this notion now where it's like I have to understand how to pull myself out of a situation and see it in a 360 view, a bird's eye view. And I have to truthfully take my pride and my ego away, because sometimes it's easier for one partner to do than the other, especially if you're conscious about it and you understand moving forward in an argument or in a conversation, etc., instead of getting in a rat race. I have to pull on my strengths, my new strengths, to make things understandable, for one, and two, um, I want to be able to serve. I want to be able to be that branch that I kind of tell people also, right? Like I have to be responsible in that sense where it's like I am also expressing this to other people, so I have to live it. And in those moments, truthfully, it's a matter of service. It's a matter of seeing things not for the bad, but seeing things as an opportunity for growth and learning. And I have to take that. And I literally take my ego out of it and be like, how did I contribute to this conversation in the first place? Because I'm pretty sure I probably did. And if you can be the strong one to turn it around, Sam, and you probably know too with your teachings and your coaching and everything, where it's like you might have to be that person. You just might have to be that person. You take your ego and your pride aside if you love that relationship enough to be the person and take the opportunity and switch the conversations around or the behaviors around if you can. So I think that's where I go with it now. Truthfully, I don't go down that rabbit hole anymore of trying to be right or trying to be understood or whatever, because I'm guilty sometimes too for creating or being a part of certain conversations. But I know my strengths now and I know how I can make them of service in the relationship.
That's awesome. And I think really what it comes down to, if you are watching this, is just trade your expectations to just start learning to understand. I
Yeah,
mean, first and
truthfully.
foremost, you always have to learn to understand what your needs are. What
Yeah.
leading human needs do you have? And then when you can learn to understand what they are, then you're able to communicate in a way to your partner or one day the person that you're going to meet in a way where they understand.
Yeah.
And then at that point, you can truly understand, what's leading them. Also, Gene, do you want to just bring up the comment that Jason added here?
Yes, I can. So he said, relationships today, let's just show it. Relationships today seem to give and take. You have the givers and you have takers. It's a cycle that is difficult to turn around. What do you think about that?
You know what's funny about this? I I truly believe at some essence as an adult, we still have that kid in us that
Mm,
shows up in the relationship at some point. And here's what I mean by that. And this has a lot to do with human needs and how we meet our needs. In the beginning, we're willing to do anything and everything to make the relationship work. We'll bend over backwards. We'll go out of our way to try to create excitement and intimacy and an element of surprise. But at some point in the relationship, we turn to that kid in us, which is the most selfish, self-absorbed person that
mhm,
never sees how anybody else is seeing the planet. And I think that's kind of how we deal with things when hurt comes up. And, like relationships seem to be give and take.
yeah,
Relationships really truly are meant to be a place of giving.
mhm,
And when you're in a place of taking, that's when we start to just focus on ourselves, our hurt,
right.
what they're not doing, where in the beginning that really didn't really exist. So,
Mhm,
this is a really it's a really good comment. And you're right, it is a cycle. I think it's a cycle for most of us.
yeah,
Whether it's, maybe the relationship is a business, or maybe if it's just something that's an intimate relationship, you're always going to have that cycle that you go in, right?
mhm,
It's just a matter of now getting a good grip and understanding of what are my human needs that are guiding me. How do I meet them? How do I communicate to the person what I need from them? And then only then, once you're able to understand how you're operating, that you're going to see what that other person needs.
Yeah. I have one thing to kind of comment on what you've just said.
Yeah. Sure.
Because I agree to a point, but then there's a part of me that's like, well, yes, I understand in a relationship there has to be a component of giving. But what I've learned as a giver myself, you have to be okay with receiving.
Mm.
You have to be okay
Yeah.
with it. Because, for one, you teach people how to treat you. So if you're constantly giving and being okay with it and resentment starts to build up, it's because you're teaching that person how to treat you, to take. Now, on the flip side, understanding a healthy receiving part of it, because every human has that need to give, but also the appreciation of receiving. You know, in my business that I have on the side, we were taught about exchange, right? So I love what I do and I give with all of my heart, but I know the importance of that exchange from the person that I am giving to. Whether it's an exchange of gratitude, monetary, etc., the exchange is important. And I have to reiterate, you teach people how to treat you. And it's not to say that it's like, oh, I gave you that, I need this in return. Or if you give 5 times, I get once. It's not like that. It's just understanding how to give and how to receive with appreciation.
We're going to dive deeper into this. So we're going to do a little interventioning here.
Right now?
So right now, so for all you that are watching this, we're going to dive in deep here.
Sure.
So deep divers, we're diving in deep. So you're able to give, but you find it hard to receive. So what human need is that, and how are you going about obtaining it?
I don't find it hard anymore.
But let's talk about, because there's probably a lot of people that are watching this or are going to watch this who are struggling with this, because
Mhm.
a lot of us are taught to be people pleasers.
Mhm.
So we're always taught to constantly give, give, give. But when it comes to receiving, there's almost an element of like guilt, or you're not deserving of it, or whatever it might be. And there's nothing wrong with being of
Yeah.
service, but there's also a time where you just embrace the fact that it's also
Yeah.
good to receive as well.
I think why a lot of people give, to be quite honest, are givers because it creates a sense of, if we're going back to the 6 human needs, um, a certainty. So it elevates the certainty of, affirming, I can do this, I can be this, I can, you know, on the external part, right? But there will always be that need for longing, love and connection. And that's the receiving part too. Because even like we talk about hunters and gatherers a lot, there's that exchange between the need for the man and the woman, right? Where it's like, I'll go hunt and I'll bring everything back, and you contribute, right? And you give back to me. There's always an exchange. And whenever there isn't that exchange, that's when there's a feeling of lack of self-worth, there's a feeling of not being enough or resentment, etc. So there has to be a healthy exchange. There has to be. And it doesn't have to be like, oh, it doesn't have to be monetary where it's like, I buy you this and you buy me that. No, it doesn't have to be that at all, where it's like, for me, if I cook dinner, I don't expect dinner to be cooked for me the next day. No, it shows up differently, but you have to see it as the exchange. And I can't tell you what it is because I don't know what you want or what you need. Um,
So
but
in order to receive, what must you believe now?
that you're worthy, that you're worth it too. And that it's a complementary piece. It goes back to being complementary. Um, and it should come naturally, to be quite honest.
So in order to feel worthy to receive it, there has to be an element of certainty by now taking on that perspective. And
Oh,
so
of course.
what can you feel certain of?
So I think I'm going to go back though a little bit. I think the uncertainty piece definitely comes in. Um, when you don't know how to receive, because it's that awkwardness of compromising in a different way, right? So you're compromising as in giving, giving, giving so that you are accepted and loved. And I don't know. I think that it comes from a lot of probably past experiences with a lot of people, and I truthfully believe that. And it's a relearning and a revamping of your conditioned beliefs. So, but I don't know exactly where you're going with that question. If you want to fill in the blanks.
No, it gives good perspective because in
Hmm.
order to meet the same need,
Hmm.
you just have to create a different belief.
Right.
So
100%.
I think really that's what it comes down to, especially, we touch base on a few things here, but I mean, just to put in summary, I mean, if you are getting into a relationship or you've been in one and you kind of get a grasp of like how other people are operating is really what it comes down. And I think, Gene, we've been going for 26 minutes. Maybe
I
we
know.
do the next video about the energies.
We could do that.
You want to just do that?
That's you.
I didn't think we were going to go that long on this.
Yeah. Well, the
But
human
it's good
needs are a
though.
long one, right? But
No, but it's good. It's good. I think it's good. But I think maybe we can recap. So my recap will be, I mean, relationships aren't easy, and nor should they be complicated. And to uncomplicate it is you must spend some time learning about the 6 human needs. I took courses from strategic intervention, which is has a lot to do with like relationships and so many
mhm,
other things. Tony Robbins talks about this. Esther Perel is another good source. So there's
yeah,
lots of resources out there. And look, guys, I mean, you know, we're going to be spending our time doing something. But one of the things you're going to be spending most of your time doing is being in a relationship. And,
yeah,
like Tony Robbins always says, if you're not happy in your relationship, you aren't going to be happy, period. And it's going to affect you in all areas of your life.
yeah,
So spend some time now and just learn about these. And number one, you're going to learn how to meet what needs yours are that are leading you and how they need to be met so you can feel fulfilled and connected and
mhm,
feel alive in your relationship. And then you too will get a better understanding of what your partners are, even if they are similar, or maybe they're not. It'll create a different dynamic about how you move forward and view the relationship and the problems that may arise.
yeah, I agree. And just to reiterate from before, the human needs, or you have to understand something first and foremost. Everybody's human. Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody's not going to be perfect. You're not going to sit there with a list and be like, right now, you're not showing me enough certainty. It doesn't, it doesn't work that way.
How dare you? We
right
talked
now, I,
about this.
right now, I need a little bit more loving connection. No, it's truthfully day by day practice, and it's showing and emitting what comes true to you. You can't be fake about it first and foremost. If it doesn't feel right, you have to understand why it's not feeling right for you. If you take, you have to understand why taking is easy for you. If it's hard to give, you have to understand why it's hard to give for you, and vice versa. Because a lot of these behaviors that you're presenting also in the relationship come from somewhere. You have to understand where it comes from. And I think as we go into the next videos on this topic, we're gonna dive a little bit deeper into possibly your past restrictions that are holding you
Yeah,
back from finding a partner, and vice versa from your partner. Because, like I said, nobody's perfect, and no one's going to be there with your 6 human needs checklist.
there
It's
should be
identity.
one.
Or pardon.
I said there should be one.
um, but you'll understand where the lack and the need will need to show up.
Yeah.
So, on that note,
So
please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell, and share this with someone who might be struggling as well. But this is the relationship series talking about the matters of the heart and mind. Ciao for now.